Tour de Corn is a fun, family-oriented ride through Southeast Missouri. It's something that started as a dream by a local farmer and a local community organizer that has just grown into this great event that draws people in from all over the country.
At the time, in 2000, Mike Bryant came to the office. I was working for the city of East Prairie in the tourism area. And he came to the office and he said, "I've got something I want you to consider." He said, "We need a bicycle ride." And we talked about it. And we decided to do it involved with the Sweet Corn Festival. The first year, Mike said, "Plan on 50. I said, "Mike, I don't want 50. I want 100. If we're going to do this, I want 100. He said, "You can forget it. There's no way you will have 100. Well, we did the first year. In June of 2001, we had 135 riders. The first routes went to the south into Mississippi County. That was before the 211 flood, and we had houses and churches and really neat places to stop. And they visited the river and Civil War memorials and Big Oak Park, and it was a different ride than what we have today. 2013, we took a huge leap. We had gotten up in the 800s, and we were advertised in a couple of magazines, national magazines. One of them was Bicycling Magazine, and they named us one of the top 100 rides in the nation in June for a 100-mile ride. And the next year, we topped the 1,000. We went, I think it was 1,024.
And then in the last year or so, the original founders realized it was time to pass on the reins to a new generation. And so feel very fortunate to be able to be a part of that group. But the one thing that I think we've learned this year is Tour de Corn is much bigger than any one person or even just a few people. It is scores and scores of people from all across Southeast Missouri, communities from East Prairie and beyond that really come in. Hundreds of volunteers that day are out on the roads patrolling, making sure our riders stay safe, giving them the hospitality that they've just come to expect from the Tour de Corn over all of these years. One of the things that most appeals to our riders about the Tour de Corn is that you actually get to go out into the countryside of Southeast Missouri. Sometimes it's along the river, sometimes it's through cornfields, through flat country roads. And so that's great for a lot of riders who may be looking to get started in bicycling. And so that way they can kind of get their foot in the water and get to be out into the gorgeous Southeast Missouri countryside. And in addition to being just a great ride, our riders really love the charity aspect of it. So once everything's said and done, we're really fortunate to be able to give thousands of dollars each year to local charities such as youth organizations, schools, different community organizations, but then also to some national charities such as St. Jude has been a recipient in the past. And so it really makes the Tour de Corn extend just beyond that one day in June to really have an impact back on the community as well. From the very beginning, the rider has been central to what we want to accomplish with Tour de Corn. We want to make sure that he or she has a great experience, a safe experience, and just enjoy all that Southeast Missouri has to offer in terms of the landscape and the people.
It started when I was so young, and my grandma was actually one of the founders of it. My grandpa was always super involved and always a huge support to her. And then just the memories that we've built year after year, riding in it, being a part in it, and all of the prep and work that goes into it just make it, the whole thing, a really rewarding and exciting experience.
I think one of the cool things around here is just that people who are coming from, bike riding in a big city or doing all these things where they have to travel somewhere to bike ride, and they come out here and you can just bike ride through everything. And they get to see the corn, and they get to see what it's like in a small rural town, and the kind of family atmosphere. And so once they come once, and they're like, oh, hey, this is a lot more relaxing than dodging, cars in a city, so I think I'll come back next year. So I would say that the best part is the food, along with just the rest stops, getting to hang out with people, and a lot of the people from the actual working side of the rest stops. But then you also meet people from very literally all over the country, and sometimes a couple of other countries and just get to sit there and talk with them. And most of the time, they're a lot better at bike riding than I am. But it's cool to hear their stories and like, how on earth did they hear about this thing that's in the middle of the boot heel of Missouri, and they're from, Florida, or they're from Texas or somewhere else. And that's interesting to me.
So my advice to anyone who's not familiar with the ride is just to do it, because there's such a diversity. If you're a well-trained biker, there's routes that will challenge you, and there's routes that you will enjoy. Or if you literally just learned to ride a bike last month, there's a route that you can do and that you'll enjoy and you'll have fun. If you have little kids, strap them onto the back and bring them. There's tons of families riding. So really, whatever your situation is, there's a route for you and you'll enjoy it.
The growth of Tour de Corn over the years has just been something that really touches the hearts of all of us involved with it, because to go from something that was just an idea from a local farmer and our local community organizer to be something where hundreds and hundreds of riders are coming in each year. It's neat to see that growth, and we attribute it all to the local community, because the people just roll out the hospitality. I think they have as much fun as the riders sometimes, just out there showing off this community that they're so proud of.
I think Tour de Corn has a personality, and it has developed it over the years. The number one thing, hospitality. Our rest stops with entertainment, the food, everybody tells us it's just like going home.